Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Through Uncertainty. I'm your host, Brianna Hodges, National Faculty for Future Ready Schools, and joining me today is one of the brightest rays of sunshine you will ever meet. She is one of the highlights in my world, and especially in instructional leadership and education across the country. I also have to go ahead and put in a plug that she is also one of our thought leaders for Future Ready Principals. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to the one and only Tara Desiderio, principal from Pennsylvania. So Miss Tara, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are, and who you serve?
Absolutely. Hi, Bree. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. As you said, I am the very proud principal of an elementary school in the East Penn School District in Pennsylvania. It's Wescosville Elementary, and it's a K-5 school, and I'm just blessed to really be serving our community there, along with serving our teachers and our kids and our parents and our community members. I'm just proud to be part of something that is just so dynamic, that believes in our kids and our families and moving the work forward and making sure that everyone knows the valuable place that they play in our organization. So I'm just blessed to be there. On top of that, I'm the mom of 2 kids, and my munchkins come to our school district as well. They are 10 and 14, hard to believe. And I also, along with being part of the Future Ready team, I also do a lot of work with our Twitter teams and 2 of our chats that happen during the week for Culture Ed and Education Never Dies.
Absolutely. See, I mean, telling you people, if you haven't, you need to go connect online with Tara right now. So with that said, you are all about relationships. I mean, that is the first word that jumps into my mind whenever I think about you, and also how centered you are on the learner in their experience. That said, I want to ask you to share a little bit about what that has looked like in our day and age these days right now, kind of principling through this pandemic, and how are you handling this, and still keeping those relationships and that learner right at the very heart?
I think that what I realized really early on when the pandemic started was that as soon as we got home and everyone was at home and we were going to navigate this new world together, the thing that we needed to keep at the forefront of our minds was the importance of those relationships. So how are we going to involve our parents in their children's education in a world that they did not choose to navigate and they did not choose to be their child's teacher? How do we embrace all of that and give people grace and really walk through this together as a partner in education and still lead those classrooms and help kids be engaged and be there with us every single day? So in order to promote and elevate our parents and our students, we really tried to figure out in what way we could reach out to them and meet them where they were at. And so we did a lot of personal phone calls. Our entire first week, we were blessed that we work under an amazing superintendent, Kristen Campbell, and she just is all about relationships as well. So she said, you need to take this first week and really get to know where your kids are, make sure everybody's safe, make sure that everybody feels connected and that they feel valued in this process. And we did that for a good 2 weeks. And we really touched base with every single family. We made sure we found out what our kids needed and what they needed from us and how they needed to receive that information. So that was really important. Our teachers did touch base with all of our kids, and I did reach out to all of our families as well. So we were touching base daily, making sure that we were asking the right questions, figuring out where people were as far as, I'm fine and this really isn't affecting me yet, or I've got someone who's already sick in my family. And so there were all these different levels of emotion. My guidance counselor played a huge role. We called families daily, parents who were struggling because they didn't know how to juggle work and school and managing their kids' education. It's just a matter of really making sure that those connections were very strong. We had a very strong presence on our Facebook page. That's one of the places that we found our parents were meeting us the most. And so we did daily challenges where we would put things out there daily to have that sense of community. And so we would do little things each day where we would have a spirit day, or we would have a chalk the walk. And so that we would encourage people to go and see what kind of messages their neighbors left for them on their walks. We did a find the teddy bear, where they put teddy bears in their windows, and you got to go on a little scavenger hunt finding the teddy bears around your neighborhood, because they were all of our neighborhood kids, mostly in those homes. So it was a way to get out and stay socially distant, and be able to do fun things together. And then they'd post all those pictures on our Facebook page, and we would make little clips through Quick and really send out little videos. And it was a way just to see that everybody was doing the same thing and that we could all stay connected together. So it was a matter of finding those things and building those bridges and making sure those relationships are strong throughout everything.
I love that. I mean, that you're exactly right. Like, until the kid feels like he is a part of the community of school, it's going to be really difficult to absorb all the content information, right? You know, that we say it all the time, Maslow's before Bloom's, and how do we make sure that we are really connecting in with that, and also with the parents. I mean, this is a huge struggle to navigate a world that none of us predicted or planned for, really, in that situation. So that said, I want to put you a little bit on the spot and ask, because these are phenomenal things that you're doing as far as relationships go, but I know that you are also an incredible instructional leader, and that you definitely keep that content right there at the forefront of your mind as well. So how are you, kind of, I have two kiddos of my own, and one of our ultimate fears is always to be at the table and not know how to do the homework or how to help our kids best. And so how are you supporting that parent partnership when it comes to, like you were saying, leading that educational experience?
I have to give a ton of credit to our Office of Teaching and Learning and our instructional coaching team. They did a fabulous job coming together with us as administrators and working together to create a lot of content that we'd put out there to our parents and our teachers. Actually, I want to be really honest, that instructional leadership piece is very important to us. And when we're asking people to go out and try something new, like, utilizing platforms like Flipgrid or like a Seesaw or like an Edpuzzle, and they have never used those platforms before, we needed to make sure that our teachers and our parents felt comfortable using them. So our instructional coaches came up with many, many videos. They would do, throughout the week, they would do things for our team every single day, that they put out new content, and that they would teach them how to do things and kind of dive deeper each time into the content. And then they would have office hours for them as instructional coaches, that the teachers could meet with them to say, how can I flip this into my own classroom? Though that content is still available now, and they've even added to it for our teachers and what we're using and what kind of things we're using now. We are lucky to be back at the hybrid setting right now. And so we have of our students, we have 70% back in the hybrid setting. They're coming 2 days a week and every other Wednesday. And then we have 30% of our students who are completely remote. So as an educational leader, I truly am running 3 different programs at once, and so is every leader in our district. So we needed to figure out how we do that and do it well, and make sure, again, that our teachers feel supported and that our families feel supported. So I think just having our Office of Teaching and Learning really focused on getting out content that streamlined everything across our entire district, that we could put out the same content to all of our parents to know this is how to navigate your way through. We're using all of our same platforms, and then we educated all of our families and our kids on those platforms. We've been blessed to have them back in our building. So even our kindergartners are using Google Classroom and know how to navigate that and how to drop things into their Seesaw on their iPads. And, so we really said, whether we have a week or whether we have a month with them, we expected the worst. And, really every day is a blessing beyond that. So having them with us and having been able to get through all of that and train them, and most especially, I'm going to go back to that relationship piece. I said, we need to love them hard so that they know that they mean the world to us, so that if we end up online again, that they still want to be there with us, and that they know that we are somebody who wants to work with them and are excited to see them all the time. And then for those remote learners who never started in our building, how did we actually build that bridge to make sure that they felt like part of our school community when they hadn't been in the building yet, especially our kindergartners who had never been to our building before? So we tried to do a lot of messages out to our families, a lot of orientation, a lot of videos that showed what our building looked like and things we're doing. And we're trying to make sure that every experience our kids have online, they also have in person and vice versa. So, if we're going to do a dress up day for something, so are our remote kids. And we're going to make sure that everybody feels the same part of the community. And then the biggest part too also comes back to valuing our parents' voice. It's a lot of asking, what do you need right now? Do you think you understand what's going on? Is this easy to navigate? How can we make it easier for you? So rather than answering a lot of emails, I've opted to make a lot of phone calls. So if you email me, I'm most likely going to call you back and try to navigate that world with you, because it is so much uncertainty. And, there are just so many things that we're not, that are new to us and that we need to know how to navigate, that having that voice on the other end of the line seems so much more supportive than getting an email that walks you step by step through the same thing. But, it's a matter of hearing like what else is going on. And again, saying, thanking parents and telling them how appreciative we are for everything they're doing at home. I don't think we could speak those words enough. So those are things that have been really high priority for us, but it is a lot of education. It's a lot of putting everything forward and making sure that everybody has what they need at their fingertips, so that we're working smarter, not harder. We're working more together as teams and as community.
I love that. I mean, I think that the word that keeps coming back to me over and over again throughout this whole your experience is connection. And so, so often we put so much emphasis on the internet connection and on that connectivity, which is extremely important. That said, we have to support that with, that opportunity to stay connected with our kids through that internet connection has really, deepened that connection in so many ways. And one of the things that really jumped out at me when you were saying that was sharing that those conversations, those phone calls, not just relying on an email, not waiting for, being very proactive with your conversations, as opposed to sending out a survey or saying, let us know if you have any problems, instead of, it sounds like you're flipping that and instead saying, we want to know what's going well for you. Where can we help you? How can we support you? Lets you feel, that level of support is so much greater when that offer is extended, as opposed to when somebody has to come and ask for it. And I can see the depth that would form with those relationships there.
I think the one thing from what you're saying too, I just have to go back to the fact that one of the things our team talks about the most is the power of choosing your lens. And I know I've spoken to you about this before, but there is just so much power in the way that we view things. And there are so many things that are so very difficult right now, but we can see them as a difficult experience or a problem, or we can look at it as an opportunity. And I've been so blessed to work on a team where everyone in our school family feels like they have the ability to embrace the opportunities and see the best in every situation and really highlight the positives that are going on. And when your neighbors are doing that, and when everybody falls under that same belief system, it is so much easier to continue to promote the positives and all the great things and all the silver linings of this very, very hard time. So we've tried our very, very best to find all the amazing things that our kids and our families and our teachers are doing. And truly everybody is just going so far above and beyond that we couldn't be more blessed to be working together and highlighting the work of educators right now.
Absolutely. And it the saying of, the longer that if you start doing, kind of the prison wall, like chalk lines, right? Of like, how many more days, how many more days, how many more days, it just sets up that environment to feel like nothing is working right. And we're just, drudging along. But instead, if you can focus and celebrate what is working well, then that whole atmosphere is going to completely change. Yes, you and I have talked about that so many times, and it is so important because, like you said, you're dealing with incredible stress-filled situations. You have kids that have family members that are, grappling with this disease, that are grappling with economic issues. There's all different kinds of things that are going on around this circumstance. There's so much to say that is wrong. And there's still ways that we can try to make it right and support them through this, environment and help lead them as they start to develop their ideas around learning. So I think that that's really fantastic. So that said, I have two questions that I want to throw at you really quick. So
Okay.
because we have, like you said, this uncertainty that's all around there, that's got to be really challenging as a principal who likes to have a little bit more of a plan as far as, are we going to do this, and all these different pieces. And I know you and I visited all across the summer, and it seems like every other day you were, okay, we're on plan B, now we're on plan J, now we're on plan, and it just kept
You
going
bet.
because there were just so many different changes that were coming along with that. So that said, how what can you share with us that keeps you coming back with with that level of confidence to lead your school, of saying, like, here we go, this is the direction that we're headed in, and let them know that even though things are fluid and things are flexible, that we're in this together.
It starts with the conversation that we had with our teachers. And last year I was blessed that Tom Murray was able to come out, because we live so closely to one another. He was able to come out to our school and share his book, Personal Authentic, with our team. And we never in the spring got to have our book study that we were supposed to actually dive into all those chapters. So we actually started our year with that. And when we talk about the things that he highlighted in that book, and actually talked about the personal authentic connections that are necessary to get us to where we're going, it was the perfect way to lead into the year. So our team really looked at dissecting what we need as educators to be successful, and what we need as individuals to be successful, and what we have control over and what we don't. And that was eye-opening as far as, what do we have control over? And then helping our parents to understand the same. So everything that we do with our in-house team, we really try to mirror and do with our families at home, because what we need as educators, they need as parents, because they really are filling our shoes when we're not with our kids, or if they're fully remote, they're doing that all the time. So really looking at personal and authentic connections with people and the value of that. And I'm going to steal one of Tom's quotes. This is the way we started our year with our team, is that a single interaction can change a person's life forever. So when we took that on, and we realized, it could just be that one interaction that gets that parent into, I can do this, like I can continue to help my child, or I can continue to go to work because I need to continue to do this because I feel like I can't, I'm so overwhelmed. So it's just that one phone call, or that one nice message home, or, just seeing, like, what can I do for you? That has been really important to us, and actually looking at how we can help our families. So when we took that, when we embrace that opportunity to really look at how strong those bridges need to be made between home and school, we actually started talking to parents and actually sending out surveys and looking at, what do you need from us to continue to make this year successful? And what do you need for your child? How are they doing? So like after week 2, and they were actually into the content and looking at what we were doing, what is going well, and what do we need to do better? And so that goes for both ends of our spectrum of, like, what do we as educators need to change on our end to make it easier for you? And what do you need to change maybe to make it a little bit more structured at home so that your child can be successful while they're at home versus with us in school? So again, it is the constant communication, and it is making sure that we are authentic with everything we're doing. And that whole, like, say what you mean and mean what you say, so don't say something that you don't mean, or don't say that you're going to do something if you're not going to, because it's really important and it's valuable to have trusting relationships. So trust, we've established over and over, having a trusting foundation has made us have the ability to really build on that and those strong bridges between home and school. And our parents have been more supportive of what we're doing in school now more than ever. We see our parents more engaged. We see them, sending responses, or sending emails, or asking questions, touching base at the school, asking how they can help. And even more than that, the thing that makes my heart so warm is the amount of positive emails and positive phone calls that we're getting from parents that just say, I just want to take a minute. I'm sure you're getting a lot of complaints about XYZ. I just wanted to say thank you, because this is the experience I had. Or I see your team out there every day welcoming the cars in as they drop off kids, and then you're out there at dismissal helping our kids get into school, saying we'll see you tomorrow, or we'll see you next week. Just those, and people are noticing. And again, just goes back to that power of connection with people and what our voices can do with our community at large.
Awesome. Okay, so that said, I would love for you to share a strategy that we can kind of glean from you, steal from you, if you will, if you'll let us, about creating trust. So, I mean, because that is such an important component of this, how are you doing it? Give us an example that we can maybe take and try
Sure.
our own.
One of the things that I started doing actually last year was that every time we got a new student to our school over the summer, so again, this is a summertime activity, takes a lot of time, but worth every single second. Every single new student, now that would be every single new kindergartner and every single new student from grades 1 to 5. I reach out personally to each one of those families and just have a conversation. Tell me about your child. What are you excited about? What are you nervous about? What kind of questions can I answer for you that puts your mind at ease? Do a couple a day and work my whole way through the summer until I'm through every single one and every last registrant and every last minute person who joins, kind of building those bridges to start. And if that's the way we're starting our year and they feel valued and that you care, then you're walking into an environment that feels more like family. So we continue that. And one of the things that that we do for our kindergartners is that we do something. We did it this year. I wasn't able to actually meet the kindergartners at the doors, but we dropped off books for every single kindergartner that on the night before kindergarten, we all read together on a Facebook Live. And just having that sense of community for our new little munchkins that are joining us, whether it was virtually or in person, we all got to do that same activity. And they were really excited in the chat and talking to us about how excited they were. And then they all posted pictures of them doing our read along with us. And again, we created a little video of that and sent that home for their little memory box that this is something we did to start our school career. And our families just feel more and more connected. So I think the time that you put in, you get back tenfold. So it is that power of making connections and letting people know that you care. And I can say for myself, I think I get out as much out of it as our parents do getting the answers that they're looking for. And my heart's just so filled by the conversations that I have. And it's something that I never want to stop doing. It's worth every single second.
I love it. It is absolutely hard work, right? But it's hard work because it's heart work. And
you say it best.
We have so much to learn to be able to find out how to best serve our kids. And I love that you've always kept that at your forefront, no matter what. It's about that kid and each individual kid's experience. And if you're not making that celebration of letting them know, like, we're excited for you to be here, then it's really hard for them to feel excited to be there, and I think that is such a wonderful suggestion. So I hope everybody out there is grabbing that for your playbook. And, hands down, you can totally see why you truly are one of the greatest educational leaders we have in the country today. And I am so honored that you shared some time with us today, Ms. Tara. Hopefully all of you out there that are listening and that are coaching through uncertainty have taken some of these tidbits and some incredible nuggets and added them to your list of things. And just remember, we're all out there, we're better together, and together we're future ready. So thanks you guys so much, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thanks, Tara.
Thank you.
Coaching Through Uncertainty is a Future Ready Schools podcast series that explores the new shifts in teaching and learning that are happening right now. Future Ready instructional leaders, coaches, and teachers are navigating challenges that were theoretical, optional, or barely feasible only last year, but have now become full-blown, full-speed, in-the-moment realities. Coaching Through Uncertainty is hosted by me, Brianna Hodges, National Faculty for Future Ready Schools. In each episode, we'll connect with Future Ready coaches on a mission to inspire, engage, and amplify innovative professional practice. We'll hear from the nation's top instructional leaders as they share their experience, expertise, and advice to reimagine teaching and learning to better suit today's learners with tomorrow's tools. You can subscribe and listen to Coaching Through Uncertainty wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Coaching Through Uncertainty and Future Ready Schools are projects of the Alliance for Excellent Education. Together we're better. Together we're future ready.